Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome to Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson. This groundbreaking podcast delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations. In an era where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve, this show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
My name is Augusta Foster. I'm one of your co-hosts, and in each of these episodes, we aim to foster an understanding and bridge the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and personal relationships. We believe that by bringing these voices together from varied age groups, we're able to shed light on commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning. Whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating the complexities of a changing world. Doc, it is another amazing Thursday. How we doing?
Another amazing Thursday. And you said it, the complexities of a changing world. How complex is it?
It is living here in America. It is, as we've seen on the news recently, it is complex and ever changing every minute.
Are you saying to me that James Brown's song "Living in America" is not the same thing?
Living, and I mean, at the end of it, he said, he exclaimed, "I feel good." There are some days where it's a toss up. If you feel good, you feel great, or you just don't want to get out of bed. But we make sure that we do, and we find the answer, and we push through.
Wow, we push through. And tonight we're going to dig into some of those answers, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because on this platform, Bridging Generations, we're always in search of. It's a search to find the answers, right?
Always.
Yeah. Yes, it's always a learning experience. So what's been happening with you?
Oh man, Doc, it is it's been interesting couple of weeks. Had an opportunity, of course, as always, I'm a person of service. Just got in right now from work, and any opportunity I could find to, like I've said, it doesn't have to be $1 million. It doesn't have to be building the new building. It's claiming small victories, the small steps that build to the bigger thing. So even now, ran into a family at the gas station, and I said, I don't have a lot of cash on me. I got no card on me. And they said, anything you could do for food can help. I went in, grabbed a couple of items, said, all right, well, whatever it is, just get it, whatever drinks they wanted, I'll cover. Knowing that, my gas light just came on like a genius. I didn't bring my card out
Mm-hmm.
and had enough and got home. But even in that moment of saying, hey, look, in this time, yeah, right now I don't have the cash on me, but I'm blessed to have it. So even sowing that seed of let me do for somebody who I know, regardless of where I'm in life, I can see they are off worse than me. So why would I not give? Why would I not try to help? So we're still doing that, the everyday, seeing who you can bless, seeing who you can help, who really can do nothing for you in return.
Wow. And what is the requirement to give? Because a lot of times, people believe that you have to have a lot before you can give. That's not the case, is it?
No, I think you not even I think I know to be a real giver, you just have to have the heart to do it. Because it might not always be money. There's moments where you may not have the money, but what you do have is your time.
Mm.
You have your abilities, you have your skill set. So whenever I tell people or hear people speak of, well, I don't necessarily have to give, and it's like, well, you may not have any money, but what time do you have? What skill set do you have? Your
Mm.
communication, how can you can still help and never give a dollar.
Wow. 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 And one small act of kindness, right, can go a long way to make a difference in the life of another person. And often, too many, too many, too many believe that you have to be loaded, you have to have a lot to give. And and sometimes you can just give up something and you can
Mm,
give.
right,
It's just about give up something. You
right.
know, one of my cousins said to me when I was, talking about scholarships, right? She said, all I have to do is stop drinking that Starbucks coffee every day.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. At $5-6 a day, 4 or 5 days a week, it adds up. It
It
adds
make a
up.
big difference. Big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tonight on the show, we're going to be talking about roles and responsibilities
Yes, sir.
of a man, right? And of course, we're doing the becoming iron thing, the anthology, tales of courage and conviction. So we're going to tie in the roles and responsibilities tonight. We're going to tie that in. I know Juan will be on. He had to take a quick break. He'll be back on. So there he is. Just call his name, and there he is. Yeah, Juan, we're having a conversation here. We're talking about giving,
Mm.
and you can jump into that. What is requirement? What is the requirement to give?
I think a willingness.
Mm.
I think a willingness in the heart. I think we get more from giving more. I think that's definitely a principle in life.
Hey.
Um, I think it's worth. Of course, biblically, I think it's a principle biblically. But I know there's one person I know for sure that I've always followed in that the aspect that Russell Simmons. He talks about that big time. He
Mm,
pushes that. He was like, much of his success comes from giving. He was like, you can't make it without having a heart and a willingness to give out. He said, I think more comes in when more goes out. So I think that's how he said it.
Wow.
mm,
You receive more when you give. And it's not that you give with expectations, but there
Correct.
is a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility, a sense of I did the right thing,
Yeah.
you know. And Augusta said something earlier at the gas station. And how do you balance giving now at a place like a gas station, the safety
mm.
concerns and those things? How do you balance that?
I think as me and Juan are speaking, it's you have it in your heart. My growing up in Los Angeles, and
Mhm.
it's still a growing issue with the unhoused. But the long short of it is, my mother would always say, you don't necessarily give to everyone. She was like, but you'll be led. It'll be on your spirit.
Yeah.
You'll know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
difference. And I think now it's a bit tricky, not just with the dangers, but also taking into account, living here in Atlanta. the issue with the unhoused is an absolute epidemic just due to the high cost
Yeah.
of living. And
Yeah.
I think there's a misconception that a lot of people are, they're there due to poor decision making, when in all reality, post COVID, I personally knew people who were this close to living out of their car and actually living in shelters, not because of poor decision making, but just they lost their job. And a lot of us are one check away from being in the exact same position. So it's tricky to really wonder, is this somebody who,
Facts.
they're going to go use it for drugs or for alcohol? Or is this somebody who genuinely is in a season where they are really getting their belief and their faith and their life tested? So it is difficult.
So today's homeless is not necessarily a person without a job.
No.
No.
Yeah. It's a new face of homelessness.
Right.
Yeah, new face. Well, and for all those reasons why we're going to have the conversation we're having tonight, we're going to talk about roles and responsibilities of a man. And it's all done in the context of becoming iron, tales of courage and conviction, right? So we're going to be having that conversation. But let's talk a little bit about our commitment. Juan, you want to take it first?
Absolutely. I've actually been enjoying this past few weeks. I've been working closely with some mentees, some young men, just helping them out and just having conversations just around about life and life principles and spirituality, personal development. So that's how I've been spending these last few weeks. We're talking about giving. I've actually been taking in and just sitting back and just listening to questions and just kind of just like their perspective on life. So I guess the commitment was, of course, at the beginning of this year, just working with youth and young adults, and continuing to just help them just to almost like just to get on their feet and get centered, and get established. And so they carried on into the summertime, and I've actually been working more with college age young men, and their drive and their ambition and what they're doing. And so it's been very rewarding and enlightening, to be honest with you. So that's what this commitment has been recently, working with them. So there's one in particular, he hosts a Bible study 2 times a week. And these, sitting on listening to them, what's funny is listening to the language of today and the lingo. And I'm like, man, I guess they say I'm the OG, and I'm like, I remember being in college and being young and looking up to, mentors or just father figures or just men in my community. And now I'm that guy. So yeah, but it's been good.
So it's a wild feeling when you're in a space of younger people and you hear lingo and you see attire and interactions, and it finally hits you. It's almost, like the memes. It's like, I've hit uncle status. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, like I work with
I'm
like, man, OG. They like, OG. I'm 38. OG. I'm like, my chest, my knee hurt. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like,
Yeah, this
man,
experience. It is definitely the experience. But yes, that's the commitment. That's what I've been doing.
No, I listen to you guys talk about. Can you imagine how I feel?
we trying to get where you are, Doc. We trying to get there.
Oh man, yeah, consistent. Stay consistent. Stay with it.
It's a beautiful thing, because what I'm learning, and if you commit to learn, to stay in the learning, in that space,
absolutely,
you'll become better. You become wiser. And as long as you're open to innovation, to innovate, to accept that you don't know.
Yep.
But you need to know.
Right.
Yeah, you'll find that personal growth and development will be yours. And at the end of the game, that's what it's all about, right? Because how can you fulfill your roles and responsibilities, of a man, unless you're growing, right? So that's big stuff. Augusta, what about your commitment? You started to talk about giving earlier.
We are still on the same thing, looking for opportunities to give and provide service in the community. Nothing much has really changed. Even in conversations, my oldest daughter is headed off to high school soon, and I've been getting prompts from her school, and some of them are events where it actually interests me, where it's like, hey, look, during this point of freshman year, they encourage the kids to participate in this event, and a lot of it is service based. And I sat up and was like, I like the fact that her school is engaging and encouraging them, even at this young age, to say, hey, listen, we know you're a freshman in high school, you have tons of life to do this, but one of the traditions we have here is we go out and we serve this community, we do this, and we volunteer and help Boy Scouts and this church and this event. I'm like, I'm really looking forward to these trips and these outings, to go there and to be with my daughter and serve and to watch young people do it. So that's what I've been doing, and that's really, I'm always looking forward to the next opportunity to serve.
And talk about opportunity to serve. I am in a position where I can recommend or nominate the young individual that we're talking about to receive a presidential award. So one of the requirements is that person would have done 50 hours of service. That we can track. So if you know any such person, we're talking now 10, 12, 14, 15 years old. And what a reward, what an honor that would be, right? So if you know anyone who is in that situation, in that position, please pass it on, pass on the name. Because we want to recognize at a very young age, is what they're doing. So keep it in mind, keep it in mind. Now we have the colloquium. That's the next thing on my mind. And my commitment is about scholarships, right? I got derailed with the Jamaican hurricane relief thing. But this Wednesday, we're going to be having a meeting online live on Facebook, and we're going to make a presentation. For the monies we collected, we're going to present it to the recipients, the beneficiaries. We'll present that on next Wednesday. So I'm inviting you, gentlemen. I'm going to be sending the link out to be a part of that. We're going to make that presentation. Then the focus is going to switch to a collision with purpose, presents a colloquium, a personal odyssey to find purpose. That's the focus. That's the emphasis. We'll be honoring 12 individuals from different communities for their purposeful work, for what they're doing. Not only, one of the things about purpose is, yes, you may know your purpose. What the question is, what are you doing with it? Yeah. So interested in what are you doing with it part. So we will be honoring 12 individuals. So again, if you know anyone that you believe is deserving of a Collision with Purpose Keystone Award for community service, then please, again, refer them so we can give them a look. All right. So we have that coming up. It's February 22nd, 2025 at the Shiloh High School Auditorium. It's going to be a hot thing. We will have entertainment, food, of course, We'll have food, we'll have speakers, we'll have big stuff. And it's all built around the book, Daily Insights Unveiled, Personal Odyssey to Find Purpose. That book is currently at the editor, and it's available and pre-order, and it should be out in December. Should be available in December, the actual book itself. So I'm very excited about the colloquium that is coming up, and just want us to build it strong. Last year, well, actually this year, March, it was quite a success. Both of you, Augusta and Juan, you played an instrumental role in that success. So, and this year again, you will be doing the same in a different way, of course, right? In a different way, but you'll both be playing that your role in making this one not necessarily better, because I don't know how we make it better, but bigger. Our goal is to make it bigger. We need to double it up. So we need tickets are Cost for the tickets are $60, per person, and you'll receive a book. So that's a good deal. So you think about it, the cost of one of these books is about $30. So it's really, you're paying $30 to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't beat that, right?
No, not at all.
It's a deal.
So it's a heck of a deal. Heck of a deal.
$60, you get a book, and you come and experience
Entertainment, music, community, networking,
food.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on, and the interest is so strong right now. The interest is so strong, and again, we also have Becoming Iron, Tales of Courage and Conviction, and of course, Augusta will be writing his story of courage and conviction. Juan, you'll be writing your story. I'll be writing mine, and again, the interest is so high. This one is by invitation only, but I'm telling you, every individual, everyone that I've invited so far, it's been a yes. It's been a yes. And this is going to be a template for how we should be as well.
Awesome.
So I'm going to pass the mic to you guys.
I'm excited, man. February. It seems like we just had the last event, so yeah, I'm excited for this next colloquium. Again, as Doc said, if you're watching this, whether live or on the replay, or you see a clip posted, please, man, go and cop a ticket. There were a lot of people who I spoke with, not just within my circle, but people who heard from outside. I had coworkers whose kids attended and recently graduated the school and said, you guys awarded a scholarship, and there was this event, and I didn't really know when is the next one. So that FOMO kicked in. So there's definitely a lot of interest and intrigue at this next event. And I believe, last year we laid the groundwork and the foundation, and this year it's going to be better. I think it's going to get better with time, and each one of these is going to grow. So I'm super excited for February.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. I'm just one that believes that this is a movement. When you start to talk about purpose, and first of all, what is purpose? And then the question asks is, what are you doing with your purpose? You get people's attention. They start, it's that whole aha, like, man, what have I been doing? And for those, I think a lot of times, even like Augusta said about laying the groundwork, I think a lot of the folks last year who were honorees and, receiving awards and stuff like that, they've been in their work for so long, moving on purpose for so long that it actually probably caused them to look back and say, wait a minute, I am in my purpose. I've been doing this and been doing that, and I think for sometimes people are moving just without thought. This is just what I know I'm called to do. This is just my heart. This is my passion. And so to honest, I think an event like this, a movement like this, causes people to honestly look at themselves and look at their life and say, what am I doing? Who am I? So I think it's a movement.
And that's interesting, because there were individuals there that before they departed the event, they'd come to me and said, I'm questioning, am I doing the right thing? These are established people.
Yes.
Jobs, career. One gentleman had actually retired and said, no, did I live my best life? Did I live my best life? I'm going to post I posted the link to register for the event. It's right there. And I think it's going to go fast. So I really recommend that whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the replay, go out there, secure your ticket. Because I tell you, they're going to move so fast, and it's going to be a capacity. And Juan, you probably know this more than me. I think it's about 400 people. It's a capacity. And we're going to sell it out. And you don't want to miss it. Believe me when I tell you.
Not 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it, man.
Not 2 years in a row.
Yeah. You don't want to miss it. It is going to be all that and more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the link is up. And I tell you one big thing, like, students always attend for free. Whatever we do, students always attend for free. So we will allocate enough seats for students. For students. So that's going to take away from the seats, the available seats as well. But we're going to, allocate enough seats for students. And on top of that, we last year we gave away 6 scholarships. No, 3. This year we'll be doing 6.
That's big. Okay.
And the requirement is the student must be in attendance to receive the scholarship. Yeah. Must be in attendance.
And so the scholarship, it can go towards what? It can be used however they see fit, or is it like specifications?
See fit.
Okay.
And again, it's a draw. The names, when the students check in for the event, we collect their names and we just have a draw at some point during the event. And the winner will come out of that bucket or that bag or whatever it is we pull the names from.
Bucket bag, cap, Home Depot bucket. It doesn't matter.
So that's the colloquium, big stuff. And again, becoming iron, big stuff. We also have shadows within going on, big stuff happening there. What else is happening in the collision with purpose world? Of course, we still have unearthing you out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. And we have a collision with purpose in pursuit of purpose. We're going to be starting up our workshop built around unearthing you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be kicking that off. And we're merchandising as well. We're merchandise. We're going to get that thing up and running. So if you want one of them hoodie, you want one of them t-shirt, you want one of them whatever, we're going to have it all. Sneakers, the whole works. Bag, tote bag, whatever you want, we'll have it available. And it'll be priced right and good quality because, it's all about that. It's all about that. So much is happening. And of course, Augusta is going to kick off his own show on this platform. Juan, you're going to be kicking off your own show on this platform. We're still trying to figure out what it's going to look like. And I have 2 new series going on. The Daily Challenge. And I tell you, it's been a big, big hit. And I tell you where it's a big hit, in Kenya. I think it's off in Kenya. And of course, I'm posting the little quotes, daily quotes, each day.
This Dr. Stephenson doesn't even realize he's creating his own network. This is a network.
Man, listen, look, they got it confused. It's not Pitbull, Laxley Stephenson, Mr. Worldwide. Mr. Worldwide.
For real.
Think about this. If you don't have access to the media, you create your own. You build your own. Mm-hmm. And if you go on the page, you can see this in 3 days, we picked in our Facebook group, we picked up about 160 followers. Mm-hmm. Wow. You tell me, is it growing? It is growing. And it's not just people from America, it's international.
Yeah, it's international, yep.
So Juan, you said it's a movement?
Yes.
It's a very positive movement.
Yeah.
Innovative movement, right? So I think we take a quick break, and I want to play another big thing that is happening. It's called Bold Kids. All right, and then we come back. Augusta, young one, can talk a little bit about that. All right, when we come back.
Perfect.
I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. Yeah, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on in my armor. And I read his word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying his presence wherever he sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as he told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, he is in me. I am a bold kid, he loves me, standing firm on his word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because he is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor, and I read his word, blessing come out of my mouth. Because I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying his presence wherever he sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
I'm a bold kid. How about that? Well, let's give a big shout out to Donna, our CFO, our co-host, our producer. Big up Donna. What, Juan?
The phenomenal woman.
The phenomenal.
Okay, let's get it right. The phenomenal woman.
The phenomenal.
The host of Today with Donna.
Today with Donna.
Today with Donna. We have Elder Joan.
Hey, Elder.
My friend, what's up? Yeah. So, we laid it out. All the things that are happening, big stuff, the daily challenge. Today with Donna, we got to figure out a name for your show, Juan. We got to figure out a name for your show, Augusta. But the one thing I know, it's going to be fire.
Oh,
The
yeah.
heat is on. The heat is on. And yeah, so Donna is in Jamaica. And what up, Donna from Jamaica?
From the land.
And she's saying she loves bold kids, and don't we love bold kids? So let's talk a little bit about bold kids. Augusta, tell us what you know about bold kids. Before you go there, let's say, all my friends are on tonight. Pastor Laxley, Mrs. Worldwide Johnson, she's on. Welcome. So happy to see you guys on with us, joining us. So let's talk a little bit about bold kids.
The bold kids. Yeah, so the bold kids, from everything that I've seen, from actually watching it grow, was the brainchild of Kiana and Tremaine Stephenson. And in speaking with both of them, they're about, I'd say, 2 years really into development and the product and the designs, but they both sat down. We would shop for the kids, and they say, we see these things in the store. It's not that it's just so easy to put it out, but there's so many different signals and messages that I think people just throw on their kids, and at times we don't realize. You may be putting something on your kid that speaks of them. I always use the example of growing up in LA, regardless of what your affiliations were, the clothes that you wore, the colors that you had on, affiliated you with certain things, even if you had no ties to them. So I think at times people throw things on their kids and, well, my kid is going to wear this, not thinking about it even from a spiritual standpoint. So those two sat down and worked out some designs and some really awesome Bible verses and said, how about we create a line for kids that really represents God and represents Christ and is really more suitable for like a kid to wear. And it's not, no offense to anybody, but like it's not like the standard kind of like like corny stuff you might see, like a church will throw a label on the shirt and it's like, that don't look good. That's not the move. This is the total opposite of that. Like your kid is going to be in like good quality, awesome colors. And, whenever people see pictures of, my daughter or, my nephew, oh, wow, like, there's a brand and this looks like that. No, and the website it's amazing. So yeah, if you're out there and you're looking to purchase your kids, something like really cool, something colorful right now, is back to school and it has a purpose and a real meaning behind it, absolutely. Go to the website, go to the Instagrams, go to the Facebook, and yeah, reach out. Give us a follow on all the social medias too. But yeah, I was a bold kid. Now I'm the father of a bold kid. So
Yeah. And I know Elder Joan purchased one of those shirts, and her grandson wears it. Well. So, and she can attest to the quality, but for me, it's the message
Yeah,
behind,
message.
behind the thing. So it's powerful. They're getting ready to launch it officially. So that's another thing that is happening. Another thing. So much is happening, right? So much. But tonight, we're going to talk about roles and responsibilities of a man, because it's all about becoming iron, tales of courage and conviction. So we're going to kick it off. We're going to kick that off because that's what it's all about, right? So there's we have responsibilities, right? Some of them are critical, essential, very important, especially living in today's world, the world we're living in, because as we said, it's a changing world, and who knows what is going to happen tomorrow, right? We got to capitalize on every opportunity right now in the moment, right? So let's talk a little bit about active parenting, because that is one of our number one roles as a man. Active, not just parenting, but active parenting.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what is active parenting.
Juan, I'm gonna let you go first because I think your kid is the oldest. I think you might have the old. Well, I mean, technically, Doc.
Yeah, he got the oldest kids.
If we go by the oldest kids, Doc, you might want to.
But no, it's a good question. I honestly think that it's just I'll put it this way real quickly. I think it's being present. When friends like males would always ask, Juan, I watch, with your daughter, like I'm always worried if their wife is pregnant. I'm like, I'm worried if I'm not gonna be the best dad or this and that and this. I was like, man, just figure out how to be present. Everything else comes with it. Just show up, just be there. And I think having an active role and active parent is just being engaged, being present and being engaged as much as possible. Because I think with being connected like that, you tend to learn what to add, what to bring in, what to say, stuff like this. So being present and being engaged.
How about that? You have to literally be involved in every aspect of your children growing up. One of the most challenging things for parents is to listen to their children, right? To listen, because we know everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't give them enough credit that they also know what they know, right? So how important is listening as an active parent?
Utmost.
The
utmost. I can speak from a standpoint of as like my book is titled, Divorced Dad, as a father who's a divorcee, who I have children not only in my divorce, but the distance between them and I, the number of states, the flight miles. So in that, there's every opportunity I could get to, as somebody who likes talking, every chance I could get to ask a question, sit back, shut up, and listen. I do it. I'll ask them, hey, on a FaceTime, on a phone call, hey, listen, didn't hear from you early this morning before school. How was the school day? And I'll hear, good. Well, tell me why it was good. Okay. And then I realize, about 2 to 3 questions in, I don't have to ask anything. There's this and there's this friend and there's that. And it's the same with my, my youngest, with Anna, hey, what did you do at dance today? And it might start at dance and I won't interrupt her. I'll just sit there because I know she's going to go. And it might end up with something about a turtle that she saw 3 weeks ago. But I'm like, all right, there's something about this turtle piqued her interest. But that listening is so important. And I would say, again, speaking as, a divorced father in distance, anyone who's listening to this, if you're a man and you're no longer with, the ex-wife, the baby mom, whatever it is, this is detail. That is one of the most important things that you will do. The level of listening, there's an effective presence in just being like heard. You know, I think a lot of us go back to specifically those of us who struggled with things as we grew older. A lot of it went down to, you know, at times your parents not listening. You know, I'll make a long story short. Earlier today, I put my mother on a flight. She wanted to visit some family. My mother called me and told me, hey, listen, this is, you know, this and this is what it's going to be. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not how it works. She said, well, it is. I'm like, I put you on the flight. I was like, and it's still, and I'm like, Mark, you just have to listen to me. And I realized even at this age, it's still a bit difficult for my parents to be like, all right, maybe he's on to something. Maybe he gets it. So I think some of that as a parent even still lingers. But that active listening, as Miss Donna said, crucial.
Yeah, active listen. What else is important now as an active parent? You know, engage. We're going to be engaged, right? And as Donna said, in every aspect of their lives, right? But do we overcrowd them? Because we have to be also be mindful of that. Do we want to overcrowd them? We've got to give them space, right?
Yeah.
Got to give them space. That's so important as well. You know, to give them space. What else is important as an
I would say affirmation, man. Like, and I think it's something that we all, to various degrees, yearn for or need. You know, and just being affirmed. You know, in who we are, our identity. I honestly believe that there is something. I talk about this a lot. Actually writing about it now, but I talk about, like, there's something in the voice of the Father. You know, I honestly believe, and you know, even Tupac said,
That's
you know,
true.
he would say, you know, there's a difference when his mom would fuss, but you know, a male figure in his life could show up and say the very same thing his mom said, and it was like he was at attention. You know, it's the authority in the voice that, you know, we carry this authority in our voice, you know, and even in our presence. And I think when we are present and actively listening, I think affirming our children, I think it goes along with what Frederick Douglass said. You know, it's better to build strong children than to repair broken men. So affirming them when they're young, you know, they carry that, you know, through infancy, you know, through you know, just going through being a toddler, through those formative years, then adolescence, you know, and then they become young adults, you know, and they're affirmed, you know. And I saw something one time. It said, I think it said, like, I believed I could do it because my dad said so. Something along those lines, you know. And I think that's big. Affirmation is huge. I really think it's huge.
That's awesome, man. That's
So
awesome.
the freedom for them to explore, to think, to know that they're also individuals with a free mind.
Absolutely.
A free mind.
Absolutely.
You know, of course, we want to give guidance. We want to make sure that we teach them what we know based upon what. But we also have to encourage them to be curious.
Absolutely.
Be curious. Ask questions. Don't just take everything for granted. Question things. I think that is so important. Because, you know, we're living in a world where sometimes we're confused about what is real and what is not. But truth, facts, it's so confusing, right? So if you're not paying attention, you know, we hear credible, well, I don't know if they're credible, but we hear individuals in positions of power and having certain roles in the society, and they say things, but when you check out what they're saying, man,
it don't line up.
Flawed. But we can't just listen to anything we hear. We can't accept it. You know the saying that you know, you can see something, you may say it may be 1 + 1. Who knows if 1 + 1 is 2 anymore? In the world we live in, with all the craziness and all the
things changing,
all the craziness,
all the craziness, right?
All the craziness,
and it's coming from the highest level, the craziness, right? Can you imagine how, if we as adults are confused, how about our children?
And then think about where they're pulling from. You know, I thought this just came to mind. At the workshops that I was doing last year with parents, one thing that I talked about with the single parents was you set the standard. That was the title of my, just the workshop piece that I put together was "You're the Standard."
Mhm.
And I remember years ago, I was listening to Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher,
Yeah.
and it was my 2012, 2013. Anyway, but he was talking about how, he didn't have positive people around him pushing him along through school. He dropped out, didn't graduate. Eventually he went back, got his GED, and then went on to get bachelor's, master's, and now he's a doctor, traveling all over the world. And he said that, I set the standard for my children, my son. He doesn't have to be a doctor, but if he ever decides to become one, he's seen one already, and he knows it's possible. And I've always held on to that. So we go through our struggles as parents, as individuals, things out as we go sometimes, but we got to do it with them in mind, that we set the standard, that we're the example of how they'll grow up to think about their point of view on relationships, self-image, self-love, men, women, like we're talking about now, roles and responsibilities, because we set that standard. We are their example, and they're watching us whether we think they are or not.
And you're talking about leadership. You're talking about leadership as an active parent. Leadership is so important, right? Providing that direction and making decisions that positively impact their lives.
Yeah.
And by extension, the community, because our children must live in healthy communities, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And so it's all about empowering them as well. So how, so you touch on leadership, but I want to move it to emotional support as an active parent. How important is that?
I can speak and say, as somebody who, is really big into the mental health space, and, not just because I'm, engaged to a therapist, but literally I've told the story of in my lowest moment, I'm somebody who firmly believes you can have your theology and a therapist. I believe that, God has given you some counselors and some people to be mediators and intermediators for your life, and it's amazing. So I'm somebody who's a huge proponent of mental health and utilizing those tools. Right now, I've seen a shift in my children, the older ones, with a recent death that occurred that was very close to them, and I'm seeing it still affecting them. And I reached out to their mother and said, hey, listen, I really think this would be helpful. And she agreed. And I said, look, I'm going to send you some information, whatever it is, it's on the insurance, but let's make sure we do this, because I've seen very often where those traumas and those issues, those triggers, they sit deep seated. And I think a lot of times, I can only speak from a male perspective as somebody who dealt with some of those things growing up, the rejection and abandonment. And I saw how it was displayed, with I tell people I went to a lot of schools. It was displayed through my hands. And I watched it with a lot of the people who I grew up with, and I realized it wasn't that their mother didn't love them. It wasn't that when their dad came around, they didn't hug them, or that they didn't have good people around them. But from an emotional standpoint, I think there are so many kids that go neglected, because we think about, specifically as men, we're, protect, provide. Let me make sure my family is safe. Let me make sure the bills are paid. And I've spoken, in groups with men and in sessions where I've asked them, specifically the older generation of Black men, which now I've learned it's not just Black Americans, it's Caribbeans, it's Africans, it's Latinos, it's white, it's the men from a certain era passed down this mindset of, as long as you have money, as long as your family is safe, like everything is good. And I've spoken with these men who say, there was so much that they saw, that they witnessed, that they experienced, that they dealt with, that was just unchecked trauma. And they carry that 40, 50, 60 years. And unbeknownst to them, they just pass it on to most of them to their sons. And then not passing it on to their sons, now their daughters, this is their reflection of the kind of husband I should find, for their sons. This is the kind of man I need to be. I talk with young women, and I say, when I speak to single mothers, I tell them the young man who you're raising, if you're the single mother of a son, the boy you're raising, I've told cousins, relatives, how you're raising him, you're preparing him for the woman you want him to meet. You're the reflection of the woman he dates, the men who you date, the men in his life. And every day, these kids watch us. Kids could care less what you say. They don't care. What are you doing? What are your actions? Your actions will always speak louder than words. So you investing in that mental health, you really asking your kid, hey, how are you? Bringing up and being honest with them. Hey, I've noticed, you're kind of withdrawn. You've been sad. Your music choices then changed. Your friend circle, your attire, all of these things, and really doing for our kids mentally. Quite honestly, what most, I won't say a lot because I don't think it's a lot. I think it's most of our parents did not do for us. And it's no fault or spite against our parents. Just most of our parents weren't equipped because they didn't get it either. So
we're living in a very challenging world, and for us, whatever you want to categorize us as, grown-ups, adults, whatever, imagine what it's like for these younger children. So imagine what it's like. So that emotional support is so critical, help them to navigate just challenges. Because often, growing up and spending all that time in school, that's your life. And too often we say, oh, just go do this. That's challenging. Every day to get up and go there.
I think it's for us to instill in them, of course, and be examples, but also to help develop the tools, for them to use when they're not around us. And that's at all ages. These are conversations I've been having with my daughter since she could talk, how to govern herself, when people, everybody's not your best friend, and sometimes people don't want to be, all these different conversations. And I think the biggest thing when you talk about the social emotional piece is the being able to identify what you're feeling. And if you know what the feeling, put a name to it, you can define it, you can recognize it, and then start figuring out how to cope, and I think that's important because, again, like Augustus touched on, they're not always in our presence, and so it matters that, like you said, Doc, it's a changing world and it's always changing. Even as adults, it gets sometimes overwhelming, just intimidating, the uncertainties and just the uncertainties of the inner, like with hearing stuff and figuring out and all of those things. Imagine what they go through, when we've been there at school and feel like they don't fit in, or wanting to be accepted, but don't want to compromise what I like about myself, all these different things, as they're evolving. We have to help them put words to it, and bring understanding.
That's that affirmation.
Yes, indeed.
That affirmation.
Now, an active parent, and again, we're focusing on men, even though we say parent, because this is about, bridging generation, voices of men, and we're specifically talking about becoming iron, tales of courage and conviction, right? That's what we're talking about. A role model, a positive role model, right? And that's demonstrating a certain amount of integrity and ethical behavior, right? Setting a positive example. And you guys been talking about that example, about the positive example for our children. How critical is that?
Man, I think I think it takes precedence over a lot of things. Augusta touched on it, when he said that, what they're seeing, that impacts their point of view. So the type of friends that they want, who they believe that they are, what they believe about themselves, who they link themselves up with, how they carry on and represent themselves, outside of the house. All these different things, I think, is impacted and affected by that model that they have before them. And I think we got to realize that having a parent that's present doesn't necessarily mean that there's a positive parent or a positive example. And that there's a difference. I've had friends. I used to think because growing up in what they call a broken household, a single household, that I was prone to do this and have this type of lifestyle or all these things. And I start seeing those traits and things with friends who had both parents, and I learned that it didn't matter that they had both parents or just one. Having both parents that didn't determine that they were wasn't the determinant. That they were going to be extremely successful or wealthy or stuff like that. I said it's the model. It's the role that they played in their life. So I think that matters. The positive role model is like you said, is crucial.
Yeah, the positive piece is there. A big piece for me is, as an active parent, is one who's continuing to learn and to grow. So we call this continuous self-improvement, right? And so an active parent must commit to personal and professional growth through learning, whether it's self-reflection. You'll have a conversation with your children and, with your kids, and just after the conversation, take a break. Well, sit by yourself and think about what happened, the conversation, right? Yeah. Self-reflection. Critical, because often we believe, hey, we got it, man. We know everything because we're older. But
that's where you fumble.
Often you go back and you take a break and step aside and replay the conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
You'll make some discoveries.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to what you said about active listening. That's what active listening is like, and being able to. I like to say, I say this all the time. I tend to people aren't saying.
Right there. Say that
people,
again. say that. Run that back.
And then sometimes it's in the nonverbals, it's in the body language, And so you're right about that, Doc. There are times when my daughter will leave or we're not around each other, and I'm sitting there and I'll just start hearing like, wait a minute, I heard her say this. Well, what did that mean? Well, I think about a facial expression. I was like, well, she had this look on her face when she said, and then it makes me think like, oh, let me go sit down and then have this conversation. Like, what do I need to give more attention to? What is she not saying? Where did they come from? So like you said, I think the key piece to all this really is you keep touching on active listening,
And we started out with active listening for a reason, right? And that's how critical and important it is. And I just want to put up some comments here so we can see both parents doesn't mean a healthy home. Wow.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is a great topic, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. We believe it is. We believe as we continue to grow, to evolve, and to develop, we know that we don't know, but we need to know. But we need to know more, right? And that's why we believe that this conversation tonight is so critical. So critical. And yes, and that's why we're having that conversation, Donna. So, I believe that if you have 1, 2, or 3 kids, children, whatever you want to call them, conflict resolution is so important for an active parent. How do you manage? For there's always going to be disagreement, right? When you have kids, how do you manage conflict resolution at that stage in their lives? How do you manage that in your home?
I think even to Juan's point earlier, he said how when the father speaks, the difference between the father and the mother. I again given a perspective, whether with my youngest or with the 4 older that are states away, I've learned if there's something going on between, I have a statement that I call fatherhood regardless. You don't let anything stop you from being the father that you need to be, because you will always have people who provide their insight and want to intervene and give their thoughts and their input. And I've learned, in just seeing life, the same people who will tell you, well, it would be better this way. 30 years down the line, those same people are like, well, why didn't you do this with your kid? And it's like, you've got to be their father regardless. No one else is their father but you. And in that conflict resolution, it's all right, this one is having this issue, this one and this beef and that. And you just have to realize, okay, all right, dad had is almost never off, because you never know when a call is going to come or what's going to happen. But it's, hey, look, how do we get all of y'all to come to some level of agreement? I remind my 5 children, from my oldest, who I've been in her life since she was 5 months old, and she's carried my name since she was 10 months old, to my youngest, who is 5. I remind all of them, hey, listen, if there's a disagreement between any of you, regardless of your mothers, yeah, you have me, but one day all of us will be gone. It is you 5. It is you. Like, you are all you have. So remember, where you want to argue and there's a disagreement, it's frivolous. Your support system are these same ones next to you. You 5, if you really break this is all you really have. Like, this is who you'll lean on in your toughest times. I've learned friends and all of that. Like, it's really cool. But in my roughest moments, I can pick up right now after this is over, and I could call my sister. I call my sister at 2 a.m, and she's gonna, is everything okay? What do you need? And it's the same. She'll call me, and if I miss the call, I'm, oh my gosh. But that's your support system. That's your real ride or die. That's really truly most of the time your best friend. And being able to resolve that conflict between them and letting them know, one day, not just now, you're really going to need each other. So be able to resolve this, be able to figure this out amongst yourselves young, like, so that I don't have to come in here with all of this tone and foot stomping, so that y'all can just sort this out by yourselves. Because I tell them, I love you dearly, but dad will not always be here. And then you're going to need to grow and figure this out amongst yourselves.
Yeah. And here again, it's you setting the example and teaching. Manage these things, because it's not a natural thing to manage.
No, it's not.
So learn behavior, right?
Juan said, no, it's not.
It's not.
What is natural is to be about yourself. That's what is natural.
No, and you said that, and I think we're all products of our environment, because me growing up, I wasn't taught that resolution or management. So the family I came on both sides, we get mad at each other. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. And so we might not talk, or things happen, transpire, and we never come back to it and find a resolve or talk. We move on like it didn't happen. Right. And there's still underlying unresolved issues that carry on for years. Real quick, a story. I remember one of my best friends in college, we had this blowout. And I was so used to when somebody got mad at me, well, they don't want to talk to me, so I didn't talk to him. And we didn't talk for weeks. He was like, like a big brother, man. He was like, bro, what's going on with you? And I was like, I thought you were mad. He's like, I was, but we're brothers. We can still talk. He was like, it's not always going to be peachy clean, but I don't expect us to not be able to talk and be around each other because we had a disagreement. I was 21, 22, and that blew my mind. Like, wait, you were mad at me, but you still wanted to be around? I've never seen it before. Never seen that before. I wasn't used to that. And our relationship, we still were doing the same thing, even though there was a disagreement. And I was so like just blown, like, wait, so you mad, but let's talk about it. I'm gonna tell you why I'm mad. And we talked it out, and it was uncomfortable for me, but after it, I was like, okay, that was safe. That was, I can do that. That was cool. And for him not doing it, I would never had that. I'm not gonna say I would have never had that, but that example I needed at that time. When you talk about personal growth, Doc, there was a personal growth moment for me, personal development, and seeing that, because I didn't grow up having examples of that.
Wow. I think we'll all agree that we live in a community, right? We grow and the community is the center of your community is in your home.
Right.
So community engagement is important, because our children, at some point, they have to leave your house. They have to leave.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, absolutely. So, and we started our conversation tonight talking about giving. So an active parent is going to teach that principle, how to support and serve your community from a very young age. We need to somehow get that into our children, no matter how young they are. They must understand that, yes, they have needs, but even at a young age, there's a give back element and component of their lives as well. So I believe community engagement is critical. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as someone whose mother spent, almost 30 years doing, nonprofit work, city, helping people with evictions, the less fortunate. My sister will watch this replay and she'll probably leave a comment, but I lost count of the times where on Thanksgiving or on Christmas or right around that holiday, we were woken up. We got awakened at 5, 6 in the morning. We're thinking it's gifts. Maybe we're opening stuff Christmas early. No, Christmas Eve, we're going down to Skid Row in LA. We're gonna feed the homeless. Hey, this is Thanksgiving. Hey, listen, this is a couple of days before Thanksgiving. We're going to go over here and put these bags together for shoes. We're going to go volunteer at the Salvation Army. So it was instilled in us young, on 2 levels. It would, as a kid, you go and you see that. And I think there's, we were talking about homelessness and the unhoused earlier. We assume it's, it has a different face. I think one of the faces that really gets ignored is you have people out here who are living out of cars, living on the streets with their kids. And as kids, my sister and I, we're 7, 8 years old, and we're seeing people who this could be somebody I go to school with, and they're literally in the soup kitchen line. So it hit that, but it made you so thankful for what you have, but it also wanted you to say, God, dog, like how do I give back? How do I fix this? And I think that's from that foundation, as Juan said, that standard. My mother setting that standard early, it's carried us through life. So it's great. Your kids have to do it. If they, as products of our environment, if you want your environment to change, sometimes you got to be the one to do the changing.
Yeah, big stuff. Yeah, this conversation is necessary. As Donna said, that it's a very good topic, but not only a good topic, but a necessary topic. So my thinking is that we're going to pick back up stuff. There's so much more to talk about where this topic, we're just scratching the surface. So for next week, we'll have a guest on this show, but we'll get it in there in the first segment. And we'll talk some more about this topic. We talk about kids and they've been so inquisitive and paying attention. I just want to share a little story, right? With my granddaughter, right? She came to me and she said, Granddad, how come Canaan has 2 pictures in your book? Yeah.
That sounds right.
How come Canaan is here and Canaan is here in another book? So right. That was a wake-up call for me, because often we believe that they're not paying attention, that they're too young. Now, this was a 5-year-old.
Yeah. And
it I guess it was always a problem, but she never brought it to my attention. And the book, it was so obvious. The book was everywhere in the house. And then she came back to me again today, because to be honest with you, I changed the cover of Daily Insight because of that. It's a new cover now, and there is it's a picture with a silhouette of me, Canaan, and her. She came to me again. She said, Granddad, why is his hair is showing more than mine? She came to me again and she said, his hair is longer than mine. And it's just the way she was wearing her hair that day. It was taken. I'm just saying that they pay attention.
Yeah.
So as they're paying attention, that's why we need to become active parents. Because had she not said that to me, I would have gone on my jolly old way, believing everything is cool. And for her, it's not cool.
Yeah.
She was carrying that. She was carrying that. She was walking around with that.
That's good, Doc.
And she was walking around with it. So we got to pay attention. We now need to become more engaged than we are, and none of us are doing it the best way we can.
Right.
And a parent out there that is doing it so well that they can improvements.
It always get better.
Mm-hmm.
I think in all that we do, there are two things, there are more, but two things I always give attention to that we all desire, you know, especially kids and young adults, is to be heard and to be seen, you know, and whatever we're doing, like you just gave her voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's 5 now, but she's 15, 25. She remember,
You'll
like,
remember.
man, I feel this about myself because my parents,
Mm-hmm.
my granddad, they affirmed me. You know, they gave attention to my voice, not just my request, but my voice. They heard me. I felt seen on that day. I felt heard. You know, it does a lot. That goes a long way.
Mm. Wow. You know, we're talking about affirmation. So I'm going to do a daily challenge live. Okay. And it's about affirmation, right? I'm going to do one live. And, you know, I'm challenging you to write down 3 positive affirmations. All right. Speak them aloud and believe in their power to uplift and inspire you. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what positive affirmations can I create for myself today? How do positive affirmations influence my mindset and outlook? How can I incorporate affirmations into my daily routine? Now, don't underestimate the power of positive thinking. Instead, actively seek opportunities to affirm your worth and see how it transforms your perspective. And I just had to toss that in there as we're talking so much about affirmations. And I was going to be recording that for tomorrow, but it's done. It's recorded.
I like it. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, affirmations is so important.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So important. So important. You know, so we're talking about becoming iron, you know, tales of courage and conviction. And the focus of today's conversation is, what is the focus? We are roles and responsibilities of
Yep.
men. And we started out with active parenting, is what it's all about. And we've gone through a few things. I know the time is running, clicking on us. You know, is there a closing argument? Who wants to go with their closing argument first?
Then I'll go first. Short, simple. As I stated earlier, if you didn't hear, fatherhood regardless. Don't let anything impede. Don't let anything deter. Specifically yourself. The outside voices. You as a father know what needs to be done to assist your child, so that when you assess it 20, 30 years down the line and they're older, hold no regrets that you didn't guide your child, love your child, support your child in these critical years. Make sure that you do all of that now so that you don't have any regrets later on. So then go out and do fatherhood regardless.
Regardless.
That's good. That's good.
Juan, you got it.
Hey, I just going to just lean in on, you know, be present and show up, and try to give it an ear to what they're not saying. Listen to the nonverbals, the body language. You know, I often, and I'll share this, that, you know, I always ask myself the question, what would I have wanted my father to have said to me when I was feeling this way or when this situation happened? And that helps guide me on how to, you know, raise and handle my daughter. You know, when this happened, what would have been great if he had done this? You know, and so I ask ask myself that question. So they want you to be there, dads, fathers. You know, don't limit yourself. Show up, be present, listen. You know, because they want to be heard and they want to be seen, whatever that looks like. Just be present.
Sure.
And for my piece, I want to take away the excuse that too many men use. I didn't have a father. Lose that excuse. It's not valid. You are now a father.
Yeah.
You have had your time to learn to become an active parent. So get rid of that nonsense that I don't know any better. You have lived, you're seeing it. whether it's bad experiences. We learn from good and bad experiences, right? We learn what to do, what not to do, right? So get rid of that nonsense that I did not have a father, therefore I am this way as a result. Lose that thought, lose that idea. It's not a good fit. It's not effective, right? Instead, acknowledge what you did not have. Fine, but learn from others who are doing it right and emulate them, as opposed to emulating and copying that father that was not present. Right? So that is my take, my final piece, and we will revisit this conversation because there's so much more, and we will revisit it because it is so important. So important. Thank you, Pastor Lexi, for your comments. Wonderful closing statements by all of you. Powerful. We appreciate that. And, it is so important. And we're speaking because who we are. We're all active parents, right? But I'm the first to acknowledge we have so much more to learn to become better at what we do.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Right? Yeah. None of us got it all right.
It's a journey.
We're open to learning.
Always learning.
We're open to learning. So Juan, do you want to do us the honor of saying what you say, and take us out?
Absolutely. Look, so we are extremely grateful for you being on us tonight, joining this conversation. We're talking about the roles and responsibilities of men. And I'll say this, be the standard. They're watching you. So join us as we continue this conversation. Same time next week. We will see you then. Enjoy. And for those who have seen it and are watching the playback, like, share, comment, and we're going to definitely engage. So we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Peace.
Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision